Good morning. I managed to get out again and we've got lovely moon and it just looks so nice on the water. Like, can you see it glistening? It's beautiful. Coco out with me again today. And yeah, really cold, really cold this morning. I've warmed up because I've done one lap. This is now my second. I just started my second lap. But yeah, the wind always bitter. I have warmed up, so I have to take my hat off. But yeah, so far so good. Come out every single day now for the last 5 or 6 days. And I've established that if I do 2 laps round, that leaves me at about 6,000-ish steps, 7,000 steps. And then by the end of the day, I'm ending on over 10,000. So that's what I'm aiming for, and that's what I'm doing, and that's good. Come here. Oh, dear me. Morning. Say hello. Good girl. Good girl. Come on then. There we go. Coco's getting used to seeing all the other dogs. She can be a bit anxious, and so she can be a bit snappy. But yeah, I did a video yesterday, but I didn't put it out because what I realised was that video was just of me literally like just getting a load of stuff off my chest, really. So I've not shared it because it wasn't meant to be shared. It was just meant for me to, you know, rant, I guess. You know, I think it's good to rant. I think the thing is we hold things inside, emotions and stuff, and they build up and they build up, and we don't release them. And what I've found is, well, what I'm finding right now is my ears are getting cold, so I'm going to put my hat back on. Bear with. There we go. Yeah, so it's good to get them emotions out, and basically yesterday's little rant to myself, because I'm not sharing it, was just me processing my burnout, my mental health, my experience at work with the lack of support, lack of understanding from, you know, managers and stuff about what ADHD is and how it presents, and, you know, that kind of all linked in with what my school experience was like, just what my general whole life experience was like. So it was quite emotional. I mean, I wasn't crying or anything like that because I've gotten past that point, but there's obviously still quite a lot of healing that I need to do in that respect, which makes sense because, you know, it's 40 years of my life basically. So yeah, so that was what yesterday's rant was about, which I'm not going to bother sharing, as I say, because it's not really for me to get it off the chest. Hello again. So yeah, this morning's rant, I don't really know whether I've got a ramble for this morning, other than just make sure you're looking after yourself emotionally. I think it's really important. We take it for granted how important emotional health is. Like, we really do. And yeah, we take for granted how important our emotional health is, because a lot of the time, majority of the time, we're so focused on things outside of ourselves, like work, family dramas, you know, friendship dramas, finances, and all things like that. And in the process of being so focused and engrossed in all of that stuff, we forget about our own needs, and we forget about, you know, how we feel inside, and then that just becomes the norm. We see that as like the norm, and like then that just then becomes the norm, and it's not the norm. You know, we're meant to be looking after ourselves. We're meant to be number one priority in our lives. Nobody else should be a priority over yourself, even your children, which I've said many a times, and I'm sure will upset and trigger a lot of people, but it's true, because if you don't prioritize yourself, your own happiness, how can you be happy, fully, authentically, truly happy and healthy, to then be fully available for your children? And I say this from experience. I say this from experience because I spent the majority of my daughter's life, I spent 15 and a half years, or even 16 years of my daughter's life prioritizing everyone and everything else other than myself, and I was fucking miserable, absolutely miserable. And so that meant, instead of me actually thriving and being happy, I was barely surviving, you know. So how can I, as a mother, be fully emotionally available, even though I think I did pretty well, considering, because I've got a pretty awesome daughter who is, you know, just awesome, really. But I can see that things could have been better, you know. I can see that she has picked up some of my anxieties, you know, and that is probably because it became normal for her to see me so highly anxious and worried all the time. And so she's like that now, you know. So I obviously, you know, I'm trying to sort of help her through that and whatnot, and I'm very honest with her about my perspective on it, i.e., listen, you know, I didn't teach you the right way here, But that's why it's so important for children to see their parents. Oh, I've got something in my eye. Hang on. Something in my eye. My nose is running. That's why it's so important for children. Coco, just get out of my way. To see their parents happy and healthy and thriving and doing all the things. Right, I'm going to kick you up the bum in a minute. I'm doing all the things that make them happy, rather than being miserable and stressed and worried, you know. That's not to say that children are not going to grow up and have their own little issues. I'm not saying that. But I think if they have, you know, if they grow up seeing their parents or parent really living their best life, you know, in a healthy and happy way, then that's bloody awesome, isn't it? You know, and they're going to follow suit, because that's then going to be their norm, you know, and that should be the norm for everybody. So yeah, it's really important to look after your emotional health. It really is. We can't, the thing is we are not responsible for anybody else's stuff. We're just not. But quite often we choose to take on that responsibility, even though it's not ours. We choose to take it on because for whatever reason we feel responsible for it. And that's probably because you've seen your parents, or you know, your caregivers, or the adults in your life act that way, and so it becomes normal. Or it might be because you've had a really shit up like time of it as a child. You've experienced something that's made you feel less than, and so you compensate for that feeling of being less than by pouring yourself into other people, because you don't feel that you're worth pouring into yourself. That's very common, very common. So yeah, I guess my message for today is make your emotional health your priority, because it's nobody else's job to do it for you. And even if somebody does try and do it for you, it's not going to work. It has to come from you. It has to come from within. You can't find happiness from an outside source. Nobody can. You may think you can, and you may feel like you are if you're currently experiencing that. But let me tell you, I like that. I promise you, what you're feeling is false. And why you're doing it is to avoid your own emotions and your own shit. And I get it. It's easy to avoid your own shit, because not avoiding it and facing it is bloody hard. Hard. One of the hardest things you'll ever do. Oh, got the sun coming up over there. Got the moon up there. Beautiful. So yeah, stop avoiding your own shit. Face your traumas, face your wounds, and start making your emotional health your priority. On that note, have a beautiful day. Bye.